Hello, and welcome here on my working table. My name is Lisbeth, and I'm a Danish abstract mixed media artist who likes to do many different things. And the 1st of January, I began a new Stitch Circle Show challenge here for 2026. And the video was up the 1st of January. And in that video, I promised you I will make a book or show you how to make a book where you can put your embroideries in, and you can perhaps recognize this from the video. So this is what we are going to do today. All the different things I mentioned here, will there be links here under the little word more. Links for the Facebook group if you want to do the Stitch Circle Show Challenge 2026. There also is a link for 25, and that group isn't going to be closed. The playlist there is a link for here on YouTube on both years, both this year and the previous year, 25. There are links for many other things, so look below there under the little word more, or in the description box, and you will probably find what you're looking for. But today is about making a book where I will place my embroideries for this year's challenge. You don't need to make such a book if you're doing the challenge. Perhaps you want to make a wall hanging instead, or just do them and put them in a box, or buy a sketchbook, or you can do whatever you will with your pieces for this year here. But I will show you what I am going to do, and I will show you how to make such a book. To quickly show you what it is I'm going to show you is a book I made last year, and it's the same size. It is 30 by 30 centimeters, and it is made on heavy 425 GSM watercolor paper. I think you can do it with about 300, but don't make it on thin paper, then it is going to be very flimsy. The nice thing about this binding here for the book is, first of all, it is called a slip knot binding. But the nice thing about it is that if you open a page, wherever you are in your book, it lies totally flat, and that is what I really like. You can see when I turn the pages, this is not about this book, but you can see how nice and flat it lies. I've been playing here in this book with earth pigments and inks and charcoal and mark making and many other things, but that is another thing. But this is the kind of binding I'm going to show you, and it is a quite easy binding. You're doing the same all the way through, and when you look at the stitches here on the side, you can see it looks like small bird feet, or some stitches like when you are knitting, and that is what is holding this book together. I will apologize if I sound a little strange, but I'm standing up here because this is so big, so I have my phone right up here. So if I'm sitting down, I can't see if I'm in frame, so I'm standing up right now. But there are many ways you can make these holes. You can choose you want them with exact same space between the holes. I think this big thing here needs 6 holes. And you can use, for instance, a crocodile like this, or you can use something here for punching holes in leathers. But I don't bother doing all that measuring. So I have found out to use an ordinary punch strings for making holes, so you could put your papers in folders. I don't know what they're called in English, but you know, the things you archive your paper in. So that is what I will be doing. The only thing I will measure is the middle of my paper, because I need that, and I have taken a pencil so I can erase it when I'm done. I haven't only done it here on the first piece of paper, but I can remove these here first. So the thing I'm doing is my tool here, you can have such a thing you can go up and down with, so it fits different things and different ways of the holes. But I push this all the way up as far as I can, and then I just put my paper in here and push it down so I can feel the point there, and then I make 2 holes. Then I turn it upside down and do exactly the same. And now I need to find this little mark there, and here inside my punch thing there is a little tab. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but that's the middle. So I will just push my thing in here, and for that I'll need to take this one out and find the mark and line it up. And that could be a little difficult because I'm standing up there. Now I'm sitting down, so I better can see what I'm doing here. So I can, there. And then I will punch. And now you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes. And I will do exactly the same on all 13 sheets. Okay, I started making all the 4 holes here because that was the easiest thing to do at first, because then I don't have to take this in and out all the time. So now I will just turn it around and take my ruler here. And find about 15 there and make a mark, and I will do that on all the pieces. And then what I will do, like I showed you here, I think it's about there, and punch the holes there and take my eraser and erase that. So now you have it again here. I will do that on all 13 pages. And perhaps you're wondering, why on earth is it taking 13 pages when there's 12 months in a year? So why not 12? That's because I would like to have something to do on the front, and I don't know what that would be yet. But my first month here, January will be sitting there. You could of course also just put something on there and there, January, February, and have fewer pages. You can also do that, but I like them to be sitting at the same side, and if perhaps I could write the rules there or do something else there. I don't know that yet, but for my part there will only be an embroidery on the right side of the spread, and what I will do on the front I don't know yet. Time will show. You don't have to decide that right now, but I will be making all these holes, and then I will show you the next step in the process. So done with all the holes, and I haven't been very neat doing them, but I think it will be okay. But the more good you are at measuring the middle here, the nicer it will be. But I think I can manage here. The next thing you want to do is find some string you can use for the binding, and there are several options. This is a round waxed cotton thread of some kind you can use, but you can also buy these things here. It is waxed linen thread, and it is really good for doing this book here. And I think since I'm going to be making my book in this color scheme, I think I will go for this thread here. But if you don't have any of these things, you can also use embroidery floss, use all 6 strings or anything else you have. But I will be using this. My book, and you can perhaps take a screen dump here so you can have that, but I will also write it here below under the little word more. There are 13 pages in my book, and for each page you need 6 centimeters of this string here, and 13 added, no, is it added? Yeah, that gives 78 centimeters, and then I put a little extra on to be sure I have enough. So 90 centimeters. And there are 6 holes here in this book, so I need 6 strings that are 90 centimeters long. So I will just cut them out here. I will do it out of camera because that isn't, I will find a longer thing than this on 30 centimeters. But I will cut 6 strings here on 90 centimeters. Yeah, you know, a woman's right, you can change your mind. I thought perhaps this is a little thicker than the other color, so I think I will take this one instead. But now here I have 6 strings, and it's exactly the same no matter how many pages you have. 6 centimeters per page plus a little extra, and as many holes you have, that many strings you have. So I will remove this. But I have stacked this up. You can see I have a book under here. Normally I would just take it out to the end of my table and let it hang over, but it is so dark here this way, so I think I can do it this way instead, so you better can see it. But here we go. In this case, it doesn't matter if I start from the top or the bottom, because all my pages are blank on both sides. But I will put, I think I have 1 or 2 other videos where I'm doing this, and there it doesn't matter if you want. Yeah, let me show you here. If you want the strings to be here on the front, you have to start from the back. But if you want your strings on the back, you will have to start on the front page. That is all you have to think of if you have something on your pages. But in my case, I don't have anything here on my pages, so it doesn't matter. I can do it in whatever order I want to do it in, because I can just turn the book one way or the other way. So I will just start here, taking the first side. And everything you do, you always do from top and down. So I will just find the 2 ends here, and there is a loop. That loop I will put in my hole here, there, and pull the 2 threads through here and tie it a little til, eller tighten it a little. Never tighten so much so you damage your holes. That isn't nice with damaged holes. I have tried one time to push so much so it got all the way through, but this paper here is pretty thick. So in from the top, in the loop, and in, and I think I need something heavy there, but I will find something. Now we can do this again. Find the two ends, go in the hole, and if some of you have been scouts, you perhaps know what all these, there are probably names for these things I'm doing, but I don't know them. This is a rate binding for single sheet things. Again, going from the top and in. And the top, with the in with the loop. Catch it and pull the two string through, and again. So yeah, that was the foundation, and you can see I'm pulling a little in the threads here. And that is the nice thing with this wax thread. They will be sitting there when you do this. If you have a round smooth cord of some kind, it is much more slippery. The next thing you're doing is take another page, here, and place it there. You take the first strings from the first hole, take the two ends, going from top and down through the holes. And now the only important thing here is, you can see I have divided it up, these two strings here. They must not cross over. The thread that's sitting left is going to sit on left, and the thread there that's sitting on right is going to sit on the right. And then you pull these two strings in there, and I won't drag them this way now because I'm doing it all the way down, and it is impossible if I make them tight now, so that it will just sit there until I have reached in, and then I can tie. You see that this was crossed, so now the thread is sitting on the left, is sitting there, and the right is there, and just go in between. There again. From the top, catch the thread, and look here. Now they are sitting all right there, and then I will find the two threads and pull them through there. And the same here, whoops, in the top. And they are sitting right there, so I'll just pull that through. These are going from the top and in the hole here. There. And they are sitting right, so in between them with the two threads there. And the last one. In from the top, always in from the top. And look at the stitch or the threads, they are sitting right now. Go in between them, and then, and now you can pull it together without damaging your paper. There and there. So this is all you're doing with all your pages. You can take another one. So in from the top and secure that these are sitting right, no crossing over. In from the top. Perhaps I should take this a little closer. Yeah. If you look there, you can see they are crossing over. So I will have to have them this way here. And then they are sitting all right. That is really important you don't cross them over, because then the binding on the back will not look nice. They would, it looks nice when you're doing it all right. They look like small knitting stitches or chicken feet, so what to call them. So here, this is sitting all right. So again, in here, there. Oops, I think I did that wrong. I didn't got it in between. There. That was better. So, in from the top with both threads. Catch them. And see if the loop is sitting all right, and it is, so I can pull through. Again, in from the top. It could be a little fiddly there where the stitchings are sitting close together. That wasn't right. Let me see here. There it is. Then it's okay. And in from the top. You always think you have taken too little thread, but because I don't think it is much thread I have hanging here, but it isn't a big amount of pages, so I will just drag this through, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. I can try to see if we can, yeah. You can see it is starting making small stitches there, and it looks all right. But I will do a couple of pages more so you can see even more my small stitches here. Okay, just to take you a little closer on, here you can see all the fine small stitches lying there, like small knitting stitches or small chicken feet. And that is the way it is going to look, and there's a little space between the pages, you can see. But it is about dragging, but not dragging so much so you will damage the holes. But you have to drag it pretty tight. Every time I'm near the end, it is always nerve-wracking, and I have done a lot of bindings this way, and every time I think, oh no, I haven't got thread enough, but I have thread enough. I only am missing one page, so I will do that, and then I can show you how to bind it off, if you can say so. But I will do exactly the same as I've done on all the other 12 pages. And again, I can't say this enough. Take care of your threads, not as crossing when you pull your thread through the loop. That is important. So all the pages are sitting as they are supposed to be sitting. So now for the close-ups or the binding off of the threads. They are sitting so they are not crossing over. So I take the one on the left, open the page a little, and this is a tricky thing to do here if I'm filming and pulling it in there. Then I take the thread that was sitting on the right side, put it under the page and turn it around there, so you have one thread on each side of the previous stitch. Pull through and make a couple of knots. And since this thread is waxed, it isn't going to run anywhere, but if you're unsure, you can always give it a little dab of glue. And if you want to put pearls or beads or something at the end here, you can do that, or else you can just cut the threads off. There will be sitting a small knot here. So what I think I will let mine sitting. It will be a little tricky to go in and out when you come to the holes here in the middle, but if you do exactly the same, you take the thread on the left side, go in between this page and the previous page, find the thread here. Yeah, it is a little tricky. Where is it? It got out. Here it is. Yeah, and then you do it. Yeah, it is best if this is strapped really tight before you do the knot. So I will just start again. Go in here. My phone is sitting up there, so I can't quite flap this up, so it's a little difficult for me. So here, this way. And the other thread that was sitting on the right is going. Yeah, you must think I'm a little clumsy, but it is because I have my phone up there. So before I do any knots, I will just pull the best I can and then make some knots here. This is the way I do it. Maybe others are doing it in other ways, but one knot and the last one. Yeah, I will do the same on the 4 others, but I will do them out of camera because it is a little tricky, and it is even more tricky now I have made the last one. But I will manage. So done with the binding of my book, and I have decided this time to let my threads sit on the back side, just for variation. But you can let them sit wherever you want and put pearls and beads on the strings or cut them off. But now I'm ready for gluing January into my book, and I won't put anything on the front page because I don't know what that would be yet. So I will just flip this over and find my piece here. And here it is. And I think I'm going to put it this way up. Many years ago, I used to glue some of my fabric things onto paper or in books or whatever I was doing, and at that time I did use a lot of wallpaper paste, and I have just taken my box here of wallpaper powder and adhesive and mixed a small portion of it. So I have it here. So instead of my double-sided tape, I think I will just use this here instead. And one of the good things about using wallpaper paste or glue is that it is quite easy to take it off again. Maybe there will be sitting some crunchy things there and it will be discolored, but this thing will be easy to take off again, I think. But not that I have any plan of doing that, but I think I will try to do this time. And I have not made it so runny so it would seep through the paper or hopefully not through the fabric to the front, but perhaps just on the back. But I think I will try to do that and hope I will succeed. So I will just put some down here and see what happens. Just a moment. I think this works well, so I think I will just put glue here and probably not. Yeah, we'll see how much I will put under. There. And I can lift up and put some here. You probably think I'm crazy putting wallpaper paste on my embroideries, but I hope this will work and it will be sitting there. And I haven't put a big fat layer on, just so I think it will stay there. So I will just let this dry and then I will rinse my brush and not my pencil. So sorry if I'm confusing you, but in Danish this piece here is called a pencil, and that's why I often call it a pencil, and I know a pencil in English is a different thing. And I will also remove my stick here, my stirring stick. Put the lid on, and then I will take a plastic bag let the air out of the box and put it in here, and then I hopefully have glue enough for the rest of the year. But doesn't that look nice? Yeah, it is already sitting there, you can see. I can't, yeah, if I do it hardly, I think it will come up, but I ain't doing it hardly. So let me see on the other page. No, nothing is seeped through. It is buckling a little, but I would just put it under some heavy books. And there isn't anything coming up here. And that is, of course, because you have the base layer under it. That is the thing. So that would be the way I glue my piece in here this year in my book. So that was all for this video. So if anybody wants a book for their pieces for this year's Stitched Circle Show Challenge 2026, this is the way to do it. I will also put links to some other videos doing this binding where I'm sitting with much smaller pages, where it perhaps is easier to see what I'm doing. I will put them here below also. So now I will just say thank you for watching, and hopefully you have learned some tips and tricks. And this way of binding a book you can use for many other things than I'm using it for in this case here. So I will just say please be creative, and please take care, and please be nice to each other. It's a crazy world we're living in right now, and yeah, I'm so old, so no matter with me, but for those of you who have children and grandchildren, you must really think what is going to become of this world here. But yeah, you can't think of it all the time, then you get crazy, and then it is good you have something creative to do that is really good for taking your brain or your thoughts of all the not so nice things here. Yeah, enough of me talking. I will just say bye for now, and see you here in this big book the first Thursday in February. Bye for now.